All right, so I'm going to talk about these orchids today. Today has been a long day and a very emotional day and a very unexpected day. So, I mean, it's kind of chalking up to yet another almost typical day, being suddenly single. Um, it's an emotional roller coaster, but I mean, truly, it's a thrill ride in a way. Um, I, I make the most of it. I try to learn from it. And that's what this is here today. When I woke up this morning, there were two pictures in my memories that pop up, and they were being at Bob's place for his birthday last year, which was obviously the same time last year. But Tess was with me when we went to Bob's birthday party. And, I knew it at the time. I knew it was the last time we went out. And yet seeing it again a year later just truly hit me in an emotional way. And I talked about that and I talked about that, and, it was very meaningful to me. And then I was getting ready for our Death Cafe meeting this afternoon. And, I thought maybe I'll talk about, the coincidence, and not the coincidence, the pictures popping up a year later and how that was a trigger, and, how I had, an emotional reaction to that. And so I was thinking about that, and I look up from my phone and I see these two orchids in the window. Just as I'm showing this picture here, but from a distance, but I'm seeing these two full-blown orchids. And I did not know that they were there. I did not see them in the process of blooming. I've watered it a little bit here and there over the last several months, but I've just given it up for dead. I just assumed that the little orchid plant was sitting there. The leaves would be green, but then they turn yellow and brown, and I'd pull them off. But I didn't throw away the orchid. For some reason, I just let it sit there. I don't know if it was sentimental or not, but, it was just something that I just didn't feel the need to get rid of. Over the years, it got where I would buy Tess a new orchid for whatever the occasion might be. And so Valentine's Day, great, get her an orchid. Oh, birthday, oh, surely, get her an orchid. Christmas, New Year's, whatever it was, I would get a new orchid because they would sit there, they would look pretty, and then they would die. And when they died, you threw them away. We didn't try to nurse them or take care of them or do anything special, and that kind of crossed my mind a couple times, but this I basically ignored. I basically ignored this plant, except once in a while when I was watering the other plant, the only other living plant we have in the living room, I would throw a little water, on the orchid. And I'm telling you, and I don't know why I want to say your name, but, Tess, honey, I looked up and there they were, just like you're seeing them, full-blown orchids looking out the window. And that's the way flowers grow, they point towards the sun. And so, this was just remarkable and magical. Is it spiritual? Cause, correlation, coincidence. It was no doubt a coincidence. Is there a correlation? Well, I thought about this just a second ago. It is spring. Spring is springing, and these plants probably go into a dormant stage, and then maybe they regerminate. We'd never had that experience because we never kept them that long, but this orchid came back, and I just feel so surprised, shocked, and moved, because I don't know, is it a miracle? It was a wonder. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And it's true that I love Tess as much or more, I can't say more now than ever, but as I said in the Death Cafe, when I talked in the Death Cafe, I got very emotional about it, very quickly, no control over my emotions, and kind of no need to because it's a very cathartic group and a very supportive group. But I don't go in there thinking, oh, I'm going to have a cry-out day. No, I start telling a story, and as I'm telling it, the emotions kind of take hold of me. But I think that's a good thing. I think it's a healthy thing. and reliving these moments. And that's what I did. I thought about that day. I'm talking about Bob's birthday again. I thought about that day, and how I got Tess to go with me, and then how he made that parking space for us, and then how she sat there and people kind of gathered around her and came up to her and talked to her and so forth. And when I took her picture, she didn't block it. She was smiling and looking across the room. And she was the most beautiful girl in the world and the cutest little smile. And, I guess that's the whole thing in my mind about being married, marrying someone, and really, really, really knowing that person on the deepest level you can know another person, through days, weeks, months, and years, and decades. Because things change. They change all the time. But you stay with it. You stay with it. You work through it. You stay together and work on new things and get to know each other. And I feel like that's still going on. And I don't sit and have conversations with her, and I'll see in movies and so forth. The guy sits at the grave and talks to his wife or talks to whomever. I don't do that. I don't think about it that way. But every once in a while, I'll say, "Yeah, Tess, you were right. Zeke's on my lap right now. He's happy as a clam. 30 seconds ago, he was whimpering because apparently he wanted to be on my lap." So I learned, because Tess would always say, "Peter, he wants something. He's not just trying to aggravate you." But anyway, I love you, Tess. I love you. I love reminiscing and thinking back, and it doesn't bother me to get emotional and go through that catharsis. And I'm doing these podcasts, to facilitate those emotions. And I'm saying some very personal things. But again, I'm not saying things that, are bad or wrong. They're just true to the heart, true to who I feel who I am or how I feel. So that's it for today. I'm going to let it go. And thank you, little rosebuds, I want to say gardenias with little orchids. Thank you for blooming today. I hope this thing recorded.